even though there may only be two of us, we do have quite a bit to talk about. As we're already a few weeks into the season now, the first round of Champions League games have been played. FA Cup and Carabao Cup games have been played. We won't speak about that today. No, we won't speak about the Carabao Cup game last night that I went to. No, we won't speak about it. We won't speak about it.
I might slip something in at the end, but not right
Okay.
now.
Okay. Well, you get plotting away, whatever it may be. But
Don't be
first,
blowing any bubbles.
if I was gonna say, I'd rather us winning the league than the cup. But hey, and West Ham are a hard team to beat this season. But that's all I'll say on that matter.
Carry
First,
on.
I've got the league table up here, and we're gonna go through. Not we're not gonna spend an entire hour on this. I don't think, but we'll spend a decent amount of time just reviewing 5 games in. Yes, it's only 5 games, but 5 games in a way can sort of pan out how the season's is probably going to look out just from the off. Unless
Hmm,
you're Man City last season, just go on to dominate after, go on like a
very,
20
very
odd.
presumptuous.
I think what we see now is going to be
Yes, Brighton are finishing fourth.
okay. Okay, we'll work our way up. Right, we'll start with the bottom three.
Well, we don't need
Not
to talk about Norwich. Still carrot crunching, still getting relegated.
yeah, I'd probably say if we had to grade them, probably F.
No, you, unclassified.
We have to give them a. This isn't new. This isn't new grades. This is the ones we grew up with. F. Failure.
The, the, the thing I worry about with Norwich is I genuinely don't even see where they're getting a point from. I will be brutally honest. Like,
Well, the thing is
never
that.
mind a win, it's just a point.
Well, the thing is, obviously they've conceded 14 goals, which at one point they were joint with Arsenal. But I can see where the goals are. It's just the fact that as the one Norwich fan I follow on Twitter said, if they keep playing Pookie, they won't win. Just flat out, regardless if he scores or not, they won't win with him in the
Mhm.
side because he's just living off this the start of the last time they were in the Prem and his
2 years
good
ago.
times in the Championship. Yeah, like they have good
Mhm.
and I would argue say better younger players, but they just don't play them.
They're just. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't watch enough of them to comment on the style of play or anything like that. But they're just watching them on matches a day. They're just not. I
No
don't know.
highlights.
They're weird. It's like they're not atrocious in the sense of like you don't watch them and think you can't play football, but at the same time you watch them and think, what are you doing?
Would
Like
you say?
where's the spark?
Would you say they're trying to play Championship football in the Prem? Is probably the closest thing to what.
I don't know what football they're playing. Could be
No, but like,
National League.
no, but in like you when you think of Premier League football, you think of fast, counter attacking, maybe like and like passing football. I wouldn't say they play that.
It is a bit slow. I think, especially like when you see teams attack them, the defenders are just slow. They're slow, you know, turning, decision making. It's just slow. It's just something that you'd expect me and you to be able to play against.
I
It's
get what you
just
mean.
not. They haven't got that initiative, and I don't know if that's because of a lack of. I know it sounds daft, given that they're always up and down, but a lack of Premier League experience.
I wouldn't say it's experience. I think it's more the fact. I think with Norwich, it's just down to quality at the end of the day, because they
Yeah,
brought in players who have played in the top leagues in other like Bundesliga and the Bundesliga. I think that's it. Um,
well, that's the thing. I think when they do recruit, I know obviously they're not going to attract the best talent in the world, but it's like the players they recruit are generally from the lower teams in the other top divisions.
Mm,
Now the lower teams in the other top divisions are worse than Norwich, so they're not going to improve Norwich.
mm.
Do you
Yeah,
get what I
because
mean?
they've signed Werder Bremen striker Sargent, Rasic as well. He's like a wide or a forward player. And then you've
The
got
right wing, yeah.
who they've signed a former Schalke goalkeeper in the past. Last time they were in the Prem, I think Farman. I
Bit of
think he's
farmer,
gone.
wasn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
they've signed Kabak, who was at Liverpool last season, who didn't have a good spell at all there. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but if you look at Schalke, I mean, there was
I think it's the
so bad
worst.
last season. There was
Yeah,
like Derby,
there
and
were.
then if you look at Werder Bremen, they was down there as well, like scrapping with relegation. So Sargent and Rashika don't exactly fill me with confidence if I was a Norwich fan. I mean, they're good on FIFA because they've got pace, but this is the Barclays Premier League.
Yeah. Well, actually, you're on about FIFA. FIFA did well. It releases on 1st of October, but is available now for those who have with EA Play and who ordered the Ultimate Edition. Not to say I have, and I'm yet to
Sad.
play it. What? It's for the cut. Hey, there's people out there who want to see a Sheffield Wednesday career mode. I'm looking at you, Robert Carter.
Sad,
Yeah.
sad, sad.
Hey, you get it early, and with this, you kind of need to, get the
Oh, you
content
don't get
out.
to call.
Hey, you won't be
No,
you won't be saying when I'm asking you, to be co-commentator on the career mode.
you're an adult, Thomas. You should be doing 40 hours a week behind a desk, not behind a games console.
I'm doing about 20 behind the bar. But anyways,
I
the rest of
do
the
know
bottom
that.
three, the rest of the bottom three, Burnley, they just, I think this may be the season. I think whoever predicted it's their season to go, I think it's time.
Um,
I think it's finally time they'll go down, unless someone else
I
has a
don't know.
shocking time.
I mean, I think I may still be running on my pre-season predictions, but I also think it wouldn't surprise me if Burnley went down. Put it that way. But at the same time, I just think Burnley are Burnley, and they always seem to get out. Like they always, I think it was last season, last couple of seasons, they've had a torrid spell really up until Christmas, and after Christmas, they just kind of somehow win games and get points.
Well, I
Obviously,
mean,
that could change the season, but
yeah.
I think they'll survive. I think they'll finish. I can't what I put in my pre-season predictions, but they'll be around like 16th. I think they'll finish. They always seem to just get by,
I think I've
and
got
they
them
always
to
go
just
through high
survive.
patches.
I think to just survive. I'm not 100%
I'll
sure.
tell you where I put them.
You can go on our Instagram to
Okay.
find out.
I put 17th, so just escape
Yeah,
relegation,
just
and
escape.
I would still say that now. I
Now,
just think they'll. I mean, if you look at them, yes, they're 19th, but they're also 2 points off 17th. So a win gets them out, but that's because we're 5 games in.
yeah, 5 games in. And I know I said earlier that it could dictate the season. I think that it's more for the bottom end. It dictates the season. Top end could change
Mm.
easily. Then you got Newcastle, who
Again, I think they'll survive, obviously,
well,
because
Callum
that's
Wilson's
been my
out.
prediction.
He's out for a bit,
Yeah,
and they're just
but,
relying on Saint Maxim. And
yeah, and
apparently,
he's running
this
the
is
show.
this is just apparently Bruce has lost the players like completely.
One thing that,
He's had a scrap apparently with Matt Ritchie reportedly.
other than the stating the obvious of how poorly the club is run because of the owner, etc., one thing that would concern me as a Newcastle fan is the fact that whilst yes, Wilson is out and you are literally relying on Sam Maximum, is the fact they play five at the back.
Mm.
Like, oh, bit of a national grid issues there. It's just you know that your season is going to be difficult. You know that you're not going to, be challenging comfortably for survival. So why are you playing defensive football?
Because he doesn't know what else to do. He's a
If it was
defender at
me,
heart.
I know it is a bit. suicidal, but I would just say I would rather go all out attack than sit back and
I mean,
play for damage
he's
limitation.
got Jolaton playing right mid.
I mean, that's where you're going wrong in to start with. I mean, the fact he's on the
Oh,
pitch, he's transferring.
yeah. The fact he's at the club.
Yeah. And I know, and Willock obviously last season saved him, but this
Oh,
season
he's not had a
he's not doing anything.
he's not had anything to bite on yet. Like even against us, like the scariest person was say Maximin.
And
The
it goes back to
the
saying,
moment they go down, they won't lose Will. They won't lose. He goes Saint Maxim. He goes to.
oh yeah,
I reckon a Palace. I reckon a Palace
he,
would he'd
yeah,
thrive at.
he's like an Everton player in my opinion.
Mm. I think someone like
He's
Palace,
like,
Everton, he'd do wonders there. Because I imagine
yeah,
if imagine this front three of Palace, Edward striker once he's settled in, Zaha on the left, say Maxim on the right. That's danger. Just based off, that's dangerous. That on the
mm,
counter. I mean, don't
but
get me wrong.
I
Oh, go
don't
on.
know. I still think my pre-season prejudice tells me there's worse teams than Newcastle. But again, it would. They're another team. It wouldn't surprise me if we go down. We said at the beginning of the season there's about 8 teams who could get relegated this season, and none of them would be surprising. Mm,
Ninth,
don't
Brentford.
know. They don't
Right.
surprise me that they've made the start they have. I think they'll do a Sheffield United. Don't think they'll finish quite as like high up as Sheffield United did, but I think they'll have a good season, and I think next season it'll go kaplunk for them. But yeah, I think they'll be fine. They play good football. To be fair, not the most exciting, but it gets the job done.
Actually, you were on about second season for Brentford. Just to go back to a team who arguably is in their second season in the Prem consecutively. Leeds, is it second season
No,
syndrome for them?
no. There's too many teams which are worse than Leeds.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think Brentford, they've got goal scorers in the team. They play nice football. Yeah, to be fair, they've only conceded 2 goals, which
Exactly.
for a
I
team
think they'll
that
be
came
fine.
through the play, because I think isn't it usually the team that comes through the playoff usually does the better out of the three.
Weirdly, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that as I agree with you, I'd probably say out of everyone apart from a team we'll get to in shortly, I'd probably say they would be, if we had to grade them, like an A minus in terms of what they've done in the Prem.
Are you American?
Well, no, you grade them, don't you?
When have we ever had minuses and pluses all of a sudden? Didn't
Oh,
we? That's one recess.
all right, an A then. Jesus Christ. Then West Ham, yeah, we'll just skip them. Then
West
Tottenham.
Ham.
I'm not bitter. Um, West Ham, they've had a cracking season
Bit
so
slow.
far. Lost to us, arguably should have been a lot more comfortably. But Moyes has got them playing well, even though they did have Antonio sent off. Um,
Yeah.
they're scoring goals. Antonio just got Player of the Month, but they aren't keeping that many out of their own net. 11 scored, 7 conceded. I mean, it's going to eventually bite back with them.
Yeah, I think on one hand, I'm not surprised they've made the start they have. Obviously, they've carried it on from last season. I think you do notice the flair of Lingard is missing. And I think they've had to kind of adapt to him not being there. But then
I
on the flip side, what worries me is once I know they've had one game in Europe, but once the European fixtures properly kick in, I just don't see where that strength in depth is for me. Like, yes, they've got depth, but in my opinion, it's not strong. And I think that's the worry. I think once the European fixtures fully kick in, I just think that's when they'll start to become undone.
Well, they did. They had Ryan Fredericks go off literally just after they scored yesterday, and so that's their backup right back gone. But Ben Johnson, who did play left back last night, can play left or right, I believe. So they do have cover, and well, Ben Johnson's a youngster, so he did get some
I mean,
minutes
yeah,
last
they got
season.
covered, but compared
As you
to
said, it's
I
not
know,
great cover.
yeah.
Mm.
So I think like they'll finish comfortably in the Prem, but I just think once the Euro kicks in, especially before Christmas, I think it'd be better for West Ham not to get through the group stages. I can't remember who's in their group of the Europa League, but I think it'd be better for them not to get through. So then, second half of the season, they can, you know, make sure that they're not finishing badly.
You make some points. For me, it's wait and see because obviously, as you said with the Europa League, it is Europa League, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. With Europa League, it is a killer, and we saw even after the Champions League that some teams, apart from probably Liverpool, that most teams are a bit meh after it. I mean, don't get me wrong,
Mm.
the 3 p.m. kickoffs last weekend were arguably the worst I've ever seen. No, the week before that, because
West Ham have got Genk, Rapid Vienna, and Dinamo Zagreb in their group.
they're not finishing second. They're not getting knocked out. No, but you have to finish bottom to
First or
be fully
second.
out. I think they do what they do in the Champions League.
No,
Oh, they don't go into
no, not
conference.
according. No, not according to this. Just first or second qualifies, and third or
Wow,
fourth is out.
that's surprising. Um,
So yeah, I mean, looking at the group, actually, I would say that they will qualify. I think they could qualify on a second string 11 there.
hmm.
But then the argument is in my opinion, if you're gonna qualify, you then may as well start putting out your best team and going all the way, really,
I
or
think that's
trying as
what they
best you
will
can.
do. I think that's what I reckon Moyes will prioritise the cup runs and probably
Mm,
sacrifice the league as long as.
as long as they're not in danger, which they won't be. So
Yeah, I mean, when there's no Europa League football, he'll play our strong team. But when there's he'll probably rest a couple because arguably Antonio and Ben Rama have been their two best players so far.
yeah.
Ben Rama, because you said Lingard was missing that spark, missing the Lingard spark. I would say Ben Rama's brought that in after having a mixed season last season.
Mm,
So
yeah, he has got a bit of flair about
we
him.
we'll have to wait and see.